What's up, jazz guitar friends? Larry Tamanini here with Jazz Guitar Under 5 Minutes. Hey, how's everybody doing? You know, cold week here in Bucks County. Great time to be playing guitar, right? It's too cold to be outside, so might as well be inside. Working on playing inside, right? So you just heard me playing through a blues, right? Played two choruses through an F blues. And I'm not here today to talk about playing through an F blues as much as I am here to just talk about the idea of guitar players being able to play time by themselves, be able to play through a tune. One of the most challenging things, I think, for any guitar player, and probably one of the last things you need to get your Jazz Guitar Eagle Scout badge. Because when you're studying the guitar, you're playing scales. You're studying scales and arpeggios, right? You're studying maybe transcribing and doing all that stuff. And you're spending all this time doing everything but playing by yourself, maybe, right? I can remember, just speaking from my own experience, I can remember really playing a lot of stuff, really spending a lot of time like on my scales, right, in my arpeggios, and then trying to like do them all together and practicing my triads, you know, right, just getting all that under my fingers and then trying to like do picking exercises, right, you know, doing all that stuff. Trying to do like rhythm exercises where I'm just maybe like trying to play like an entire chorus of triplets over a blues, 1 octave and 2 octaves. So I'm doing all this stuff, but I'm really not trying to be musical. So in the two choruses that I played, you heard me start off by playing a call and response idea, right? I played a little intro because, you know, that's another thing. If you're trying to play by yourself and you're maybe going from 0 to full jazz starting off, you know, you're going to pull a muscle. Try to give yourself a little bit of an intro. I played a 2-bar intro, just something like that to help establish time, because when I had a hard time playing forms, it was because I wasn't really listening to the band. And I was really super preoccupied with guitar stuff. I wasn't really thinking about the forms. And I sure as hell wasn't thinking about playing simple ideas, you know. Studying with Pat Martino, I had 12-point stars and all kinds of Big Dipper, Little Dipper, Orion, major 7 chords that I wanted to try to play. You know, playing the Pat Martino stuff and the Dennis Andoli. I was really trying to reinvent the wheel. How silly does that sound? But pretty common, I think, misconception for a lot of guitar players. The idea of playing simple was not in my vocabulary. And that's why the blues are so great, because the blues are simple. And you want to work through simple ideas. Call and response is the best thing that you can do if you're having a hard time playing forms. Because what it does is it forces you to play a little bit of a melody, you know, and some single notes, but it also forces you to stay at home and to play rhythm figures and to play the form. So what you notice that I ended up doing here, you heard me play that idea, and what I was really trying to do there every time was like really get those hits on, like I think that's the end of 2. Not easy to do, and just playing the melody by itself in 2 spots, that in itself is going to help you get some patience. When you're trying to play, sometimes, again, the concept of time can get lost on guitar players. And, you know, you can be so hyper-focused on your own line that you forget to breathe, essentially, and that basically means to count. You know, you can play like, you know, you can just miss that. You want to think of waiting for that line to end, and you end it by hitting the end of 2. So that's a really, really important thing to do if you're having a hard time playing standards. Pick a blues, pick a key, take like some kind of simple idea from a blues scale and try to just play it in a couple different spots, because it's going to force you to move, and then try to throw those chords in there, because that's basically going to be the poor man's way of being a piano player, comping with your, you know, your chords, and then thinking about that the melody line is your right hand and those chords as your left hand as a piano player. Now the next step that you can do, if you feel pretty good, you know, is try to implement that over like a, you know, maybe a non-12 bar tune, okay? So, all right, if I took a tune and maybe I'm just going to take the first 8 bars of a tune, like I'm going to stay in F, I'm going to do Days of Wine and Roses. Right? These are the chords that I'm dealing with. So, okay, this is great if you're kind of playing by yourself or with a bass player, or even in a guitar trio where you can comp for yourself. You don't have to fill up all the space. And when you can comfortably comp for yourself, you're really ending your phrases, you know. So I kept the same kind of concept going, right? 3rd to the 5th. There's just like a little line that I like to play. I went from a D, regular D7 to like a D7 sharp 9. And then when I got to this G minor, kind of the same thing, right? 3rd root down to the 5th. And I'm comping for myself. So this is basically like leaving a little trail of Reese's Pieces so I'm not getting lost. You know, nobody wants to be the guitar player that gets, you know, that gets lost on forms. You know, that was something that I worked really, really hard on. I, at one point, was the Forminator 1000, right? You've heard of the Terminator. I was a Forminator, and what a Forminator does is messes up tunes by not being able to play forms. You know, everything's going great, and then the Forminator comes in and things get all wonky. We want to stay away from that. So I worked really, really hard at trying to play simple ideas and comping for myself so I really wouldn't get lost. Okay, so these are some great, great ideas that are really going to help you as a guitar player. Just get comfortable playing, okay? And back to the blues, you know, maybe once I get done playing, you know, that sort of stop time or that chorus with, you know, that call and response chorus, then okay, so now I want to play some lines. I ended up using the chord to kind of comp right in the middle of the line. I like sus chords, right? Really cool little idea there after I went to the 4, and I didn't do much other than play the guy tone lines. Just sort of inverted them. I played something like that. So what I was trying to do is play a couple real simple lines that I could repeat, a couple lines that I could comp for myself for. And then I wanted to sort of lay in there with your eighth notes. Now, I could sit here and go on about like how eighth notes are really one of the more important things that's going to define your swing. So I've sort of structured my solo to sort of get to those eighth notes, maybe in like the last 4 bars, you know. Right? as a guitar player, sometimes we want to play chords over everything. Don't be scared to play eighth notes and work on having strong eighth notes. A lot of the times when I will ask students to kind of spell out stuff for me in eighth notes, it can be an immediate tell of like what we're going to work on for a lesson. And a lot of the times it's just because you're not really practicing like that. You're practicing some stuff that's going to help you learn the guitar, but at some point you've learned enough of the guitar and you have to start applying what you've learned so you can get some new stuff in there. So again, the idea of playing really simply, some call and response ideas, some ideas that are like going to sort of like comp friendly ideas. And then, you know, you could sort of hear what I was going to do. It wasn't anything super crazy or hard, but what I wanted it to do, since I was playing by myself, is I wanted it to feel good. I wanted the time to be there. So I was just kind of playing accordingly. And when you're really working those eighth notes, once you start to apply that while you're improvising, you're going to notice an immediate difference, because you want to start practicing for stuff that you're going to use in playing situations. Really tough to do on the guitar, right? Especially with the way our instrument is taught and the way things are laid out. But you know, you have to practice playing, especially if you want to play a lot. So, all right, guitar players, can you play 2 choruses of an F blues unaccompanied? You know, chances are you probably can, but if you can't, it's something that you should work on. It's something that I work on all the time, even though I feel pretty confident with it. But if you made it this far, thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I try to put up new content every week. And I really appreciate all the support and awesome comments. Keep swinging. Bebop.